Welcome to PodTox Ep.4. We have Penny Chambers on today. This is also my co-host, Marie, right there. I think she shows up there in the other ones. But yeah, we're going to get started. We're going to hear about her story and everything she has gone through with recovery, life in general, and just getting to the point she is now where she is killing it. I want to start off with just make it nice and simple. How was like your family situation and everything growing up? This is kind of where we start with everybody just to get an idea of your life.
So growing up, I was raised by my father. He was a single dad. My mom left me when I wasn't 2 yet. I wasn't quite 2 years old yet. And my dad came home from working, he worked like 12, 16-hour shifts. To me, being alone in my crib, my mom was gone. I was home alone. He doesn't know how long. I had been crying so long that my eyes were crusted shut that he had to take like a warm washcloth to, because I was so upset. I had been crying. I don't know what was wrong, but I'd been crying, My dad stepped up and raised me my whole life since I was, a little girl. He was very strict. I don't have any siblings. I have a half brother, but he grew up with his mom, so we did not grow up together. He was very strict, very, very strict. My dad, very conservative, very, it's his way or the highway. It's like black and white. There's no, no changing his mind ever. And I think I learned at a young age to be sneaky and manipulative. I just had to. I didn't have to. I just did. I wanted to be like everybody else. I wanted to be able to go to the skating rink on Fridays. I wanted to be able to ride with my friends in cars. I wanted to be able to wear makeup. I wanted to do all these things that I wasn't allowed to do. So I started doing them behind my dad's back, and I would get grounded for like the whole summer. He, just these weird, like over the top punishments. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And that meant no going outside, no talking to my friends, no doing anything all summer long. Who does that? Who does that to a child? Anyways. And then I wanted to be a cheerleader. He wouldn't let me do that. I had to do karate. So I was in karate for 8 years. I got my black belt after 5 years. So that's pretty cool. I do appreciate that.
Was it just because the victim mentality, like he wanted you to be strong?
Yeah, he wanted me to be able to protect myself. He's like, I want you to be able to, protect yourself no matter what. So that was his reasoning, because he just wanted me to be able to defend myself if something happened in a situation. Like I said, there was no, I couldn't do both. You know what I mean? I tried to do both, and it was no. I don't know. I had a decent childhood. We didn't have a lot of money. My grandma helped me a lot. My grandma was my mom pretty much growing up. She would pick me up every Thursday, and we would go out to eat and just talk about things and help me with womanly things, that my mom wasn't there to help me with. And so that I'm grateful for that. She helped my dad a lot. She'd pay for my school supplies, my clothes, my glasses, my braces. She stepped up a lot.
Was this your dad's mom, or was this your mom's mom?
No, this is my mom's mom.
Really?
Okay.
Yes. Here's the thing. My grandma left my mom when she was little, okay? My mom left me when I was little, right? And my mom's excuse was, well, grandma did it to me. And my thing back to her was like, well, you know how it felt. Why would you want me to feel that way? And that's my response back to her, and she doesn't know what to say. I'm like, I know how it felt, and I didn't leave my kids.
She couldn't break the cycle. She couldn't break the cycle of toxicity, basically.
Yes, and I am doing that. I'm breaking the cycle of abandonment and toxicity and all that. So I'm working on it, trying.
You're doing a wonderful job, Penny. You really are.
Thank you.
So you end up going through your whole, childhood like this and everything, of course. Whenever you got to that point where you were older, did you ever try and find your mom?
She was in and out of my life when I was growing up. The only time I'd see her was at Christmas time when she'd bring presents, and my dad would never tell her no, just because he didn't want me to hate him, if that makes sense. He wanted me to figure out who she was for myself. He never talked about her. He never put her down. He never said anything bad about my mom ever growing up. He wanted me to figure it out for myself.
Did she ever have substance abuse issues as
Oh,
well?
yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. Yep. That's why she left was,
Okay.
yeah, from my understanding. And so, when I was like 14 years old, 15, that's kind of the age where I don't know, where I was trying kind of like getting sneakier, if that makes sense. So I would go to my mom's house and I could do what I couldn't do at my dad's. I could wear makeup. I could have my friends come over. I could drink wine coolers. I could, I used to do this stuff called Rush. I don't know if you guys know what that is. Clint tells me it's like pilot fuel or something. Go ahead. I don't really know. And we would sniff it and it would give us like doing whippets kind of a thing, The first time I did any drug was with my mom. First time I drank was with my mother. First time I took a pill was with my mother. First time I did anything was with my mother. The first time. Every time.
What age were you when you really started to get into more hard things and like just like your usual drinking?
I
And
never
like,
drank. I was never a drinker. I don't know why. I have to like the taste of things that I'm drinking, and I don't like the taste of alcohol. So I've really probably only gotten drunk like 10 times my whole life.
Okay.
Seriously, I swear. That was never a thing for me. Around 22, 23 is when I started to get into pills. I kind of just dibbled and dabbled when I was younger, like Adderall here and there, smoking here and there. I was never addicted to anything when I was younger. I just did it for fun and at parties and stuff. But when I was in my 20s and I was with my ex, who my kids' dad is, the relationship became very toxic and abusive. So his dad used to take Vicodin, and he was like, well, I was having a rough day, having a hard day. We just had a fight and I was just having a hard day. And, he was like, here, would you, this will make you feel better. So I took it and it didn't make me feel better. And, so I had to keep taking them to keep making me feel better. It was my shield. It was I don't care what you say to me. I don't care what you do. It doesn't matter. It blocked all that. Like, kind of like it didn't, like it wasn't reality, really. Like,
it numbed you.
yes. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. So, I hid it from everybody. No, only person that knew was Steve for a very long time. And then I would kind of tell other people. And then, finally I came clean. I was stealing from my grandma. I couldn't do it anymore. I was just doing things that weren't right. And so I went to rehab and got on Suboxone. This is when Suboxone first came out, kind of like how Sublocade is now, how it's the new thing. Yep. That's what Suboxone was when I went to rehab. It was the new thing. They didn't even have a Celbutex yet. Like, it was that new. And it worked great for me. I got pregnant for a baby, and you couldn't be on Suboxone when you were pregnant. The only thing that they had at that time was methadone. That was the only thing that you could, like, if you were on heroin or whatever, that was the only thing that they had at that time. So that's how I got started at the methadone clinic, was from my pregnancy, being on Suboxone, and I had to go to methadone because that was what was safe for me and my baby. Fast forward 7.5 months, I'm 7.5 months pregnant, and I'm not getting bigger. And they're like, we need to do a test. Well, come to find out, my baby didn't have any kidneys. And you can't live without kidneys. It's just impossible. So I had to go in and deliver him. And of course, he wasn't born alive. And that was like the big turning point in our relationship. That was like, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. There was no fixing it after that, because he blamed me for it. He told me that I killed our son. The methadone did that. The doctors didn't know what they were talking about. They're just telling me that to be nice. How can I look at myself in the mirror? You killed our child, and I already have these thoughts going through my head anyways, and then having somebody continuously throwing this in your face. So I went to my doctor and I got prescribed Klonopin. And that opened up a whole new can of worms for me. A whole new can of worms. Talk about numbing somebody. You take enough of those, that numbs you, for sure.
He got abusive kind of while you were pregnant and everything. Was he doing that beforehand and like just creating a whole bunch of stress?
Yeah, I was actually gone. I had left him and went and saw him on Valentine's Day, and I got pregnant on Valentine's Day, and then I slowly went back. that I was gone. And this is for my oldest, Branson. We've got 3 children together. Well, 4, Josiah. But Branson is 16. Josiah would be 14. Brinley is 11. And Bryce is 7. And we have all our kids together. So, and he was, like when he would drink and get drunk on whiskey, he would come home and just, it was terrible. He was just a monster. Evil. I mean, evil.
Did you try to leave? Like, did you start to try to leave at this time? Were you making an escape plan? Like, how were you mentally juggling your addiction and trying to figure out how to get away?
Branson and I left when he was 3 years old, and I went and lived with my mom, and she lived up a couple hours away. Well, that wasn't a good place for me to live either, but so the state put me in a hotel, Branson and I in a hotel, and I was getting rides to and from the clinic every day from them, and they were helping us out and stuff. Well, during this time, my ex is like, come home, come back, this is ridiculous, blah, 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 and I ended up racking up a bill at the clinic, like a $500 bill that I couldn't pay. And here I am, like, I need my medicine. I can't pay this bill. They're telling me, if you don't start paying, I'm sorry, you can't come here anymore. So I ended up going back so I could go to my clinic that I normally went to in my hometown. Well, while I was doing that, he was on probation for a DV that I had against him, okay? And I had to get no contact thing, it lifted. I had to write the judge, blah, 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 and I got that lifted. Well, one day I'm thinking he's going to a probation appointment. He ended up going to our court appointment for our son, because I had won custody through the courthouse, but then it gets sent to front of the court. And the front of the court, 99.9% of the time, always goes with what the other court says, right? Yep. Well, we lived in an apartment. I didn't know that this date had come. And Jeremy showed up. So he got custody of Branson by default because I wasn't there. I didn't find this out till a year later. A year later, when he put his hands on me. And I call the cops, and I'm like, I need you guys to get here and pick so-and-so up, blah, blah, blah. So he goes to jail. He comes out. His dad had our son for the night. And he's not giving him back to me. So I call the cops, and I have my paperwork. I'm like, look, I'm trying to get my son back. He's not giving him back to me. I have custody. And that's when he came out with those other papers. I had been living with him, and he got custody of our son. And I didn't.
So at that time, you probably felt completely betrayed, right?
Oh, I didn't know what to do.
Your world got flipped upside down.
Yeah.
So how did you navigate that?
I didn't very well. I didn't very well, because this is just very shortly after Josiah, so I'm still trying to kind of deal with that. And then dealing with all this, it was terrible. It was awful.
Was he your first love, or was he kind of just another?
Yeah. He was a rebound. My high school sweetheart got a full ride for football in Kentucky, and I was a waitress at a bar, and I met him there. He charmed me and bamboozled me. And
I mean, Maria and I have talked about this. At first, I guess the first love is the hardest, and whenever something happens, like I went crazy whenever I lost my first. I did whatever the hell I wanted, and that rebound does not help, especially when everything seems okay. And
I was blind to the flags, if that makes sense. I wasn't really looking for them because my mind was elsewhere. My mind wasn't fully committed to that. Does that make sense, or does that sound crazy?
Also, his mask wasn't unveiled at that time.
Thank you. Yes.
It takes a while to see the true colors. I know that firsthand. Yeah. We've talked about this. But it's like, at first, that person, you don't see the things. And then as you get to know them, actually, as you get to get clean and sober and start to get your stuff together, is when you're like, whoa. Like, you have like a moment of like, wow.
That story that I told you is a big pivotal point in my life, because that's the reason why I stayed for so long. It's because he had custody of my child. I didn't want to leave my child. So when I was staying there, I was also racking up child support. I was racking up child support at a house that I was taking care of my child. And he would
Wow.
hold that against me. And then I would get warrants. So when he would get abusive, I couldn't call the cops because I had
You were a
warrants.
prisoner. You were basically a prisoner in your own home at that time. That is absolutely heartbreaking, and I'm sorry that you've had to endure that.
Yeah, every time I leave, I end up going back just because of like he would ruin where I'm staying at. Like I always had to depend on him. Like I didn't have anybody on the outside.
You didn't know how to stand on your own 2 feet
didn't.
at this
No,
point.
no.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you can even try and you think you're ready and then you end up alone and you're just like, I might as well go back. I don't know how to be myself.
Well,
So
here's the thing. The only place I was allowed to go was the clinic. So the place where I found friends was the clinic, and that's not a place to find friends.
I agree.
Not a place at all. Like at all. You do not find friends at the clinic. I can tell anybody that is in MAT treatment, be nice to people, but keep it moving. High and
Yep.
by. High and by. We're all in different points of our recovery, and you don't want to get reeled into any BS that you don't want to be involved. Because I was
good
always
advice.
involved in BS, and it was always from, but that's where I found friends. That was the only place I was allowed to go. I went there and I came back. That was it. I didn't have good friends like I do now that have my back and that genuinely can check in with me and that know me and can call me if I'm on BS.
When you went to the methadone clinic, was he supportive of you getting on the treatment because your life had fallen apart, or were you getting
no, oh my gosh, I was a junkie. How dare I? But mind you, his dad ended up getting on it, but that's okay because he's old. He needs it. What?
Yeah.
What? He would tell me my doctors are nuts that they get paid to say that. Just like the same thing with Josiah, like, you're an idiot, get off of it. Like, he would hide keys from me. He would make it so hard so I couldn't get there. He would like tell me, if you don't leave the clinic, you can't stay here anymore. You have to go. I'm going down to the courthouse and I'm evicting you.
how was he whenever you were using everything else?
He didn't know. He didn't know.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
He didn't know. So he was just his normal self when he would get drunk. Every Friday, my heart would just be in my chest because here we go. It's Friday,
Yep.
And I remember the first Friday that I didn't feel that and I broke down because I knew I was healing. I knew at that point I was healing, This isn't until years later. This isn't time with Clint, but I just remember Fridays and Saturdays were my hell days. I would plan my C-section around the weekend, so I knew I was safe. So I knew at least I had a safe place when I delivered. I'm serious. I swear to God, I put it on Josiah. I swear to God. I had C-sections of my kids, and I would plan them on the weekend just so I knew that I was okay that weekend.
I'm sorry that you've had to go through that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, look at how far you've come from where you were before. That is a blessing, Penny. It is, truly.
How did your family feel about him doing all this?
I don't have family. I've got my dad, and my dad kind of is like, well, you picked him, you laid with him, you deal with it, And my mom, not reliable. I can't count on her, And my grandma, she went on my ex's side when he got custody because she wanted to be able to see the kids whenever. So I didn't have anybody. When I tell you he took everything from me, he took everything from me, everything, everybody, my family, my home, my kids, my soul at that time was gone, you guys. I
remember that whenever me and my ex-wife split, I let her have the house. I just let her have everything because she had already took my son and I had just gave up.
I had to look a 10-year-old boy in the face and say, I'm sorry, I can't take you with me. My 4-year-old little girl, I'm sorry, I can't take you with me. But I had my baby Bryce because he didn't have custody of him yet. Because he was a baby. He didn't want him yet. He's not, he's not, but you know what I'm saying? He so he didn't come take him away from me till 6 months later. But I had to tell my other 2 kids, I can't take you. And when I left, I had 1 basket of clothes. I didn't have a job. I had $5. But I knew that I could not stay there anymore. I knew that my daughter could not think that this is love because that's not love. I didn't want her growing up thinking that that's okay. And so I had to go. I didn't know what I was going to do, but I just knew I had to go. So I went.
So what did you do? Like whenever you left, what was that first move? You're in panic mode, you have no option.
I went and stayed with somebody that I knew from the clinic, honestly.
Couch surfing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
With a baby.
hmm And during this time is where Clint came into my life.
Okay.
But I don't want to get that. I don't want to get that far forward yet because I would like to talk about prison. I did go. I ended up going to prison because of like stealing and stuff when I was in my addiction. When I was on Vicodin and
Benzos.
the method. Yes.
The combination. We've discussed this before.
But
The combination of benzos made you feel the need to steal, basically.
yes.
Correct?
And also,
Same.
I didn't have anything, so I was stealing for survival too. Honestly, I was.
I get
the
it.
things I was stealing was formula, diapers, wipes, toothpaste. Like I wasn't boosting; it was things that I needed. And during that time, I got these retail frauds. Well,
Same.
I got these warrants, and they caught up with me. They catch up with you. They always do.
They absolutely
And I
do.
ended up turning myself in 3 days after Brinley's first birthday, and I didn't get out until 3 days after her second birthday. I did a whole year. That wasn't even my guidelines. My guidelines were 0 to 6 months.
Was it your fourth offense? Because on my fourth, that's when
It was like
mandatory.
my sixth offense. It was like my
all right.
sixth. And mind you, when I turned myself in, I was still going to the clinic. I was on 140 milligrams of methadone. I was taking 3 milligrams of Klonopin a day. I was on Neurontin. I was smoking. I was doing all these things when I turned myself in. And they didn't have like now if you go to jail, like you can get Suboxone, and if you go to the clinic, you can get your stuff now. They didn't have that. The only way you got that back then is if you were pregnant. That's the only way you got your medicine. So I'm withdrawing all of this while in jail, facing all of my stuff.
I've been there before with the benzos and methadone on the jail floor.
And they just look at you like it doesn't matter. And I just rocking. And I remember thinking, what can I do to hurt myself so I can go to jail or get out of here so I can get
to the hospital?
Yes.
I did the same thing.
Yes.
I'm
like, can I jump off here and hit my head? Like I was thinking of ways to hurt myself so I could. That's crazy.
I remember the methadone withdrawals, man, you just end up in such a dark place and you're in so much pain.
So where was the baby when you ended up going to jail and you turned yourself in? What did you set up for the baby? Because
Jeremy had custody of Branson and Brinley, so he had that. Wait.
So
when I turned myself in, he didn't have custody of Brinley yet. He didn't. He only had custody of Branson. When I was in prison, he got custody of Brinley, and then he got custody of Bryce after I was with Clint because he was pissed off.
Oh, okay.
Jealous, mad, and the judge did not like methadone at all. Wouldn't look at my drops. I had a letter from the director. I had a attorney from Legal Aid, and she's like, "You got an arsenal. This is a slam dunk case." So I'm thinking, this is good. This is good. This is like, I'm gonna get a win. I need this. Thank you. And then for the judge to not even let me talk, and she didn't even fight for me, and it was terrible. It was the worst thing I ever went through in my life. Clint had to pick me up off of the bathroom floor because I was hyperventilating, and I just couldn't believe that it happened. I couldn't believe it, that I felt deflated. He's got all of my children.
Yep.
Oh, you can come back. You want your kids to come back.
Absolutely.
So learning how to be away from my kids was the hardest part, I think, when I left. That was the hardest part for me.
I agree.
I don't know if you've seen this part of my story, but the whole reason I got on subs was because I was at rehab. I was clean. I hadn't actually really been using at all, but my wife had just found out at the time. So she didn't know I had stopped, and then it kind of blew up. But I was at rehab, and my wife literally told me, if you don't get on these miracle drugs that are going to keep you safe, then we're done and you do not get your kids. And the doc just pushed them to me, to my family, to her, everybody, told everybody, you have to get on this, otherwise you will not make it, which was complete, in my opinion, bullshit, which is why I got so pissed about it.
Penny, I gotta say, I give you a lot of credit. You are the strongest woman that I know. Seriously, because for you to be able to still, this today remain so positive after all the storms that you have been through?
You're so sweet. You're so
It's the
sweet.
truth. It is the truth. It's like you are such an inspiration, and the things that you've been through are miracles
You're
to see you on the other side.
well,
It's
thank you.
true.
I just hope that my testimony can, like you say, resonate with somebody and help somebody and let them know, hey, I'm going through this, but look at her now.
Absolutely.
I'm going through this, but she got through it. I can get through it. You guys can get through it. I promise you. It's not going to be easy, and I will never tell you it's going to be easy, but I will tell you it'll be worth it.
Absolutely. So you did the year, and then when you got out, did you go into like a? Okay.
I got paroled to my ex's house because that's where my kids are. He emailed my my parole officer. I'm not on probation. I'm on parole. I am like go to prison, like my tail is 5 years. I messed up. I got 4 years hanging over my head kind of stuff. Okay.
Yes.
So
no
he
joke.
emailed my parole officer saying, I just dropped Penny at home and she's dirty for everything. So my parole officer calls me and she's like, hey, I got an email from so-and-so saying this. And I'm like, well, do you want me to come down and drop? Because it's not true. She's like, no, I believe you. I just want to let you know that he's doing that.
With a situation like that, couldn't your parole officer do something to change the situation you were in? I mean, obviously she was backing you, so
that's a friend of the court issue, not MDOC.
Were you ever offered a program? Were you
Never.
ever offered another option instead of going back to another jail, essentially?
No.
The same thing happened to me.
Nothing.
And I feel like the system fails a lot of women.
Yes, they do. So when I got out, I was clean, right? I hadn't used in a long time. Right. So you guys probably wondering, how did I get back on methadone? How did, like you're on it now. How did that happen? Well, so I got prescribed Neurontin again. That's what started it all. I started taking my Neurontin again. And I was like, ooh, not taking anything for all that, really, like, so that's kind of what started it again. And I felt myself wanting to do more, so I just went back to the clinic. Before I started anything, I was already a client there, so I didn't have to go a vet to not go 180. I just had to go there and redo the
intake.
Yeah. So I just went back there, and I've been back ever since. And that's been it'll be 10 years next July.
I'm so freaking proud of you. You're a rock star. You really
I've never
are.
gotten any trouble. I got 0 violations on parole, and my parole officer is like, I've been doing this for a long time, Miss Parker, and I can count on one hand how many people have completed parole, no violations, and you're one of them. So that was like my first big, like, okay. That was like my first pat on the back.
A confidence booster.
Yes. I completed something. I did something. I got my GED in prison. I was starting to do things that were making me feel good and bringing Penny back.
You were learning yourself because for years you were numbing yourself.
Yes.
You're starting to heal and you're learning who Penny really is. You're learning how to put one foot in front of the other and stand on your own 2 feet at that time. That takes a lot of inner strength.
And that's what you're supposed to be doing whenever you're in a MAT program, is learning how to support yourself, because most addicts can't do that.
Absolutely.
So, you're working the program, you're doing awesome, and that's the point. That's what keeps you sober.
You even did a commercial, right? You did a commercial for the methadone clinic.
Yeah, the clinic, and there's like 5,000 clients. Okay, they asked me to be one of 5 people to kind of tell our story and be on Cherry House website and commercial and stuff. So that was pretty cool.
That must have felt like a full circle moment.
It was.
Like you come in there addicted, and then they're asking you to do a commercial. Like hello,
and the people, the workers that have been there a while, just are so proud because I've come a long way. You
have.
The Penny that I was before to the Penny now, Clint and I joke, don't bring Penny Parker out, because I'm Penny Chambers, don't bring the Penny Parker out.
Whenever you were still in active addiction, did you ever have, obviously you stolen stuff every once in a while, did you ever get violent or anything like that?
No, I'm not a violent person.
I wondered. That's why I was curious.
No, never.
I couldn't see mad Penny.
No, but I can defend myself. Like I stood up to a 280-pound man 5'11" man every weekend. Like I can defend, and I was in karate, you know, like
Yep.
I can defend myself. Like him or I was going to be on Snapped. It was getting to the point to where it was escalating and escalating and escalating. And I don't know. My intuition's like, Penny, run, even though I had to, you know, like I don't know. It was a big mind fuck. Let me tell you, a big mind fuck. But I'm so grateful I took that step. I left on Father's Day of 2017, probably the best day of my life, because that started my life now.
I had, whenever everything got figured out, whenever I went to rehab, I went on Father's Day because I showed up because my wife and I were split for a second, and I went to her house to go pick up the kids and was told to go inside, and intervention, and I was just like, fuck all you. Yeah. So
No!
that was my Father's Day.
No!
Yeah, and I was pissed. I
Oh,
mean,
that's terrible.
whenever you see everybody and figure out what's happening, the anger, like I have never been that angry before, but then once I sat down, figured out what was going on, I broke down. Like I lost it because I was like, I was so tired of using, and I felt like I had finally got away from a lot of it, but then Shan figured out what was happening and I went into a spiral.
Okay.
So yeah, it's what I don't understand what it is about Father's.
I think it's holidays in general, because
Yes.
people get together and it's a good way to set someone up, because I was set up on a holiday as well. Like you're thinking you're just going to a family event, and then it's like, oh, the big element of surprise.
That's terrible. There's better ways to do stuff like that, I feel like. You know, that's just not a right way to approach an addict at all. At all. In my opinion.
When you were planning, were you planning a few days prior? Were you planning months prior? Like how much planning did it take you to get the foot out the door? And what did you leave with?
A couple months. I had been like, okay, Penny, I was just so sick of having to fight every day for just simple things. Going to get my medicine.
And
why do I gotta fight? Yes. Everything. I mean, everything was a battle. I didn't have it in me anymore. I didn't. And so I knew I was leaving this day. The Thursday before that happened, he went out and got drunk and pulled some shit. And I'm like, that's a sign. Thank you, God. Yep. I knew that was my, like, Penny, you're on the right track. Penny, keep doing what you're doing. Penny, yes, you got to fly. You got to go. It's going to be hard, but we're going to figure it out. You need to go. So that Thursday before Father's Day.
That was your aha moment.
Yes. Yeah. That I know that I'm doing the right thing. Yeah. And when I left, I had one basket of clothes. And then I had my son's stuff. And I had $5 in my pocket. I smoked cigarettes then. I didn't know how I was going to get my cigarettes. I had to go to the clinic every single day because I smoked weed at the time and didn't have my card. So I had to go daily. I didn't have my takeouts like I do now. So I had to figure out how I'm going to get there every day.
How did you get there every day? Did they give you transportation through the state? Like, how did you navigate?
The person that I lived with went there.
Okay.
So I rode with him.
Your friends were there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, while I was doing this, Clint is also a client at the clinic, okay? And we would just go at the same time. We just had the same kind of schedule, so I would see him every morning because we'd go at the same time. Well, he's like, I've been seeing you on my side of town lately. And I'm like, shh, don't tell anybody. Like, I didn't want people to know because everybody talks. So that'll fucking my health. No way. Penny left. Oh my God, that would be the talk of the clinic for years. Anyways, he come to find out, like, I live damn near in his backyard. In his backyard. So one Friday, he was like, hey, bring Bryce. So I put Bryce in the stroller and I walked over to his house. And I was in the F-men stage. I feel sorry for anybody who tries to date me stage, like trying to figure he would listen to me talk, and whatever. And he was just there for me. Never like questioned me. It was so easy. It was so easy. And I'd never had it easy before. Well, I didn't have a cell phone. Idiot when he stopped paying for my phone bill, right? So he's like, I'm going actually to get a new service. I can, whatever. He's like, I would like to get you a phone, like no strings attached. It's your, whatever. And I was like, sure. He's like, cause I just want to be able to get a hold of you. I don't like not being able to get a hold of you, kind of a thing.
Wow.
So during this time when I left, I'm going and staying at my grandma's house, and on the weekends to take care of the kids. Cause it's just easier to do it at the house instead of bringing them to where I was at. And he would leave. So I'm doing this all summer long. And mind you, he never questioned me. He was never like, oh, you're sleeping with your ex, blah, blah, blah. Most men would be insecure of that. Most men would be very, very insecure of the girl that they like going and staying at their ex's house for days at a time. You know what I mean? He never questioned me. Never. He was always so like supportive and, just there for me and never pushed me, never made me feel uncomfortable. Just an angel, my guardian angel. He saved my life. He saved my life.
You have a point where you got turned, I don't want to say turned off by that, but kind of like sketched out by that because yeah.
I told him, I'm like, well, I need to pump the brakes. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm falling for you. I don't like this. Like, this is not my plan. I want to be alone.
You weren't used to getting treated with respect.
No,
that's what it all boils down to. When somebody finally starts really appreciating you and showing you respect, you don't know how to take it in and internalize it because you're not used to getting that.
Yeah, no, not at all. Not at all. And he's still that way. He's still so patient and so loving and so
that's a blessing.
Caring. And I had baggage when I met Clint. I had warrants for fines that weren't paid off. I had just gotten off of parole. I had a baby with me that I didn't have a job. I really didn't have nothing to get. Like, I really wasn't offering much on the table. If you know what I mean.
But you were, because you were.
But but you know what I'm saying though. Like,
I get it.
He didn't care. None of that mattered to him. He could see what I couldn't see. What it took me years to see. He could see that.
Was there a reason why you didn't get any assistance from the state or anything like that throughout this whole process?
I didn't have custody because he had the physical custody. That prevented me.
Usually women need a baby in order to really get assistance. It's the truth. There's so many. It's happened to me before. They would not do nothing for me.
Nope.
Nothing. And then I have a question. Did your felonies prevent you from moving forward in life?
Yes. Oh, for a long time. Yes. I couldn't get hired anywhere. I couldn't get hired anywhere. Nowhere.
Okay. So many people run into that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still have, well, obviously you've been at the gas station for a while and stuff like that, but even there, did you have issues because of the felonies?
It doesn't show up anymore. It's off of it's off of there now. So
sealed?
Yeah,
you got it sealed.
Some big I'd have to be going for a big job for them to find that out, kind of a thing. Like a normal employment place is not going to find out.
When you first started, dating Clint and knowing that you were going to be involved with Clint, did your ex give you a hard time? Did he start trying to pull the kids away from you? Did he start not? He couldn't be, like, the kids weren't available this weekend, or, all the games.
Big time. Yes. And here's the thing. If somebody doesn't follow the court order in Michigan, you can't call the cops and be like, hey, I've got paperwork that says I have my children at this time. Can you come with me to get my kids? They say it's a front of the court issue. You got to take it up in front of the court. You don't even have help when you have, like, you know what I mean? Like, so he does what he wants. I don't get my kids every other holiday. I've only had them every Christmas Eve.
It's a control thing.
So many people on their end failed. Like, it's bugging the crap out of me.
It's infuriating. It's so heartbreaking, especially when the kids want to be somewhere and they can't be. Feeling like I'm not protected. I don't know. It makes me feel like I'm failing in a way, if that makes sense. Yep. Like I'm letting them down, that I'm not coming through for them.
Yeah.
You are, though. You're coming through big time. You have come leaps and bounds to the top, my friend. You're on your way.
You're so sweet.
Getting your license back, all those things that you've been doing, you're just climbing your way to the top.
You're so sweet. Thank you. So Clint helped me pay off my fines. That was the first thing that we did. He helped me, kind of look into the future a little bit, because I was kind of just taking it day by day at that time. I didn't look into the future because that was just too scary. That was just
too much anxiety.
I didn't do that. I just took on day by day, and he helped me start thinking about, you know, more than just that, and getting my life in order. And the first thing we did was take care of the warrants. That, you know, then I didn't have that hanging over my head.
Did you ever have CPS, DCF, or any of that involved because of the constant cop calling and domestic violence?
I didn't call the cops a lot because I always had warrants.
They never did that, like a mandated, like have them come out and check the house, the kids?
Only when I gave birth and they were born on methadone, but that's like normal. You know what I mean? Never because of one of our fights. Never because of one of our fights. No. Only because of being born
on medicated assisted treatment.
Yes. That's the only time. Yeah.
You escaped that one, but you got a lot of other shit. So
I know. I'm still working through a lot of that. I still got a lot going on behind the scenes, but at least I'm doing it the right way and an honorable way. And I'm
Absolutely.
And my kids aren't going to be kids forever. They're going to grow up and they're going to see, just like my dad did. I'm doing the same thing to my kids that my dad did. I don't talk about my ex in front of them. I don't, you know, as much as I want to be like, I don't, because they will figure it out one day. It might not be 10 years, it might be 15 years, but one day they will figure it out. And that's what I hold on to. That's like my
hope
thing. Yes, that's what I hold on to. You know, like, is that they'll understand one day, because I can't make them understand now, but one day they will.
The mask will come off.
Yes. And I want any woman that's listening to this that may be in a situation where you're in a domestic violence situation and you know, get out. Even if you don't have a plan, it's okay. You can get one. Go somewhere safe.
Now, I have never hurt a woman like that, so I don't really understand how people can. But my wife, she used to work in DV shelters, and she could only say so much because you're only allowed to say certain things.
Right. She's got a big heart, because I've been at a shelter one time, and that was when Branson was little, before he got custody of him. And the people that work there have big hearts. I tell you what, they see a lot.
They do.
Sad stuff. And to be able to do that every day, you know, she needs to be told that she's doing an amazing job, and thank her for that. Because, you know, women that are in those situations, all they have are like your wife and those people to help them and help get them going and help get them on a right path. So bless her heart for that. That takes a big heart.
I wanted to go back just a little bit to your beginning of like methadone and everything like that. So obviously you've been on both subs and methadone. Do you prefer one over the other? I mean, you stayed on methadone, but was it just convenience, or?
Here's the thing. I feel like, me personally, I'm just saying for me personally, you have to be really committed on your recovery and want to be doing right to be on the methadone. Okay? Because it's a little easier to sway, a little easier to do things being on that. And methadone works better for me because I have pain issues. I've got fibromyalgia, so it works better for me. I need it for the pain. The Suboxone didn't do that for me. It didn't help with the pain. So the methadone works better for me, but to each their own. It's just me personally. And it only started working when I started taking it properly. You know, when every day at the same time, and, you know, not abusing it, not when I got my one takeout, taking that right when I got home, you know, doing dumb stuff. Like, I would just go to sleep. What was the point of that?
Whenever I was on methadone, I wasn't on it the right way because I was getting it from somebody else.
Okay.
But I felt like methadone didn't have the same side effects. So many people talk about negative side effects from methadone. I feel like I didn't have any of that. Now, subs, all of it. Like, I thought methadone was a lot more stabilizing.
Yes, works great for me. And then I get people ask, well, why you've been on it for a long time, Penny? That's kind of the question I get now. I've been on it for a long time, what are you going to do? I'm just going to keep going to what I'm doing right now, because that's okay for me. It's working right now. I only go twice a month. It doesn't inconvenience my life enough to make me
not want to be on it.
Yes. Yes, I have been coming down a couple milligrams every couple months. So like I'll go in there and be like, okay, I want to come down a couple milligrams. So I have been doing that periodically, just not on a set time.
Having any negative side effects when you've gone down, like one off day or anything like that?
The only thing really is my sleep. Yeah, it kind of affected my sleep. Is really the only thing. And that's kind of what holds me back is because well, I get up early, and so when my sleep gets affected, it sucks. Then I really don't get any sleep because I'm up early no matter what. Even if I don't have to be, I'm up early. It's just, I think from going to the clinic so early for all those years, it really just, I don't know, stayed in my head, I guess.
Whenever you started getting to the point where you like, okay, I've been on methadone for a few years, did you have those people that were coming to you constantly? I mean, obviously people have asked.
Yes, I'm not supported by by my husband. I am, but my family, no, I'm not supported by it. But it's okay. I don't need that support. I used to think
absolutely,
I did, but I don't need that support. If they're not going to give it willingly, I don't want it.
Do you worry about your kids having addiction issues?
Oh, yes. My daughter is on ADHD medicine. Well, has been for 3 years. Has been off of it this whole summer because of
shortage.
Thank you. Shortages. So she's been off of it all summer long. And I tell you what, it's the best summer we've ever had. Her personality came back. Her, like, I remember calling Marie and crying and being like, I've got my daughter back. Like, oh my gosh, like all these things, like she'd want to be alone. She'd angry all the time, like her sleep was terrible. Her eating was awful. And all these things subsided over this past summer, all of them. And I was so proud of her and so like just, she's like, Mommy, I don't want to take it. It makes me feel funny. Mommy, I don't want to take it. It makes me feel funny. Well, fast forward to just a couple of days ago, and this is why I was having a bad day. She had a doctor's appointment and they're putting her back on it. They're putting her back on the medicine.
Why though? What's the excuse?
Because she needs it, because the school is making her. Well, I found out that what she has is just a 504. It's just a behavioral contract. That's all that
it's is. It's not an IEP.
With
an IEP, they have a little bit more control, but a 504 is under an IEP. So they really can't make you do that.
So I'm just learning about this. So I am going to the school next week and I'm speaking to the IEP person who's in charge, whatever. And I'm sitting down with them and I'm fighting for my daughter because she does not want to be on. I can't protect her. She's got to take something that she doesn't want to take every single day. And I can't protect her from that. And that is what has been bothering me the most.
I understood what that was like at this age, but back then I didn't understand how impactful that could be. Because Jax is on the IEP. I don't think whenever the shortage happened, I don't think he was on it long enough for it to really change that much when he didn't have it. But it scares me because I had all types of addictions whenever it came to the uppers too, so...
I have addiction. My mom does. My grandma does. Her dad. It's run deep.
Genetics.
Yeah. And so I was so infuriated. I'm like, why are you not fighting for her harder? Well, the doctors say it's okay. Oh, well, the doctors didn't know what the hell they were talking about with me and the methadone. Like, that's what bothers me. I'm a junkie because I have to take this medicine. But it's okay for our daughter to take... pardon my French, a freaking upper, her eyes will get rolling in her head and she gets these weird tics and it completely changes her. She doesn't she'll freeze up in videos. Like if you watch my videos, she's funny, having fun, dancing, we're having fun. Watch in a couple weeks when she comes back to my house, the difference. Watch, you'll see.
Have you tried changing just the medication itself?
So all they've done is dropped her 5 milligrams. So hopefully when she has to start taking it, probably tomorrow, to get used to it for school, it doesn't mess her up. Hopefully it's not too strong for her. The other dose was just way too strong. Way too strong.
All summer, I do have to say, Penny, you did really good things. You took the kids for walks. You got them outside. You got them fresh air. You gave them structure and routine. Those things trump the meds sometimes. Like structure, routine is everything to a child, especially a child that struggles with ADHD, especially. You gave them that stability. You provided that, and you allowed her to flourish, basically.
I tell her, I said, Brinley, it's okay. It's okay to be how you are. You don't have to change anything. Shame on the school for making you feel that way. You're beautiful. You're perfect the way you are. You don't need to change anything. I tell her this every single day.
I noticed she was so much more confident off of the meds.
Oh,
Didn't
yeah.
I tell you? It was like a night and day shift. She would never want to like say hello. But now when I'm on the phone with Penny, she's like, wants a video chat me. It's like a totally different child. Yeah. No, it is, right?
No.
She never wanted to do that.
Yeah, because here's the thing. They put her back on it one day. Well, they were trying to put her back on it a few weeks ago, and she was on it one day, and I picked her up, and I instantly started bawling because and then bless her heart, I go in the bathroom and I'm trying not to let her see me, and she goes to Clint, is mommy crying because of the way I'm acting on my medicine? How is she smart enough to know that?
Yeah.
And then I cried even harder,
Well,
she shouldn't be worrying about that.
You're doing a good job, though, trying to get the pieces aligned so that you can advocate for her, so that you could get to that doctor, so that you could talk to the school, so that you could be involved.
I've been not involved with all that stuff for the past 6 years. I haven't had a license. Clint's heart, he does the best he can, but he's only one person. He can't get me to everything. You know what I mean? It's impossible. So I missed out on a lot of things, but it's not happening anymore because I've got my license. And like I told Brinley, I said, I might not be there every day, but I'm going to be there for the important days. Trust me, I am. No more missing practices. No more missing first day of school. Whatever it is, I'm going to be there. And I can confidently tell my kids that. And being able to confidently tell your kids you're going to be there and then believe you is the best feeling in the world.
They trust you now.
Yes.
They're trusting you now because they're seeing everything that you're doing is paying off. The proof is in the pudding.
Yes. And Clint, he doesn't have any biological children. When I got with him, Bryce was only 15 months old. That's a baby.
Yeah.
That's a baby. He wasn't even walking yet. He was a baby. And we had him every single day for the first 6 months of our relationship. And then we went to court, and that's when,
Does Clint want one?
We went through that stage. We went through that stage a few years ago where we did want one and kind of didn't really try, but didn't not try, if that makes sense. We weren't not stopping it, kind of a thing. But now, no, we're good. We like the freedom that we have. We like the, kind of. Don't get me wrong. We're working on getting the kids more, but don't take it that way. I'm just saying, we don't want a baby. No,
you're content.
Yes,
basically, the two of you were content within your relationship, not to bring on another child.
And I'm so grateful that he's content enough for that too. That takes a strong man. That takes a strong man to love somebody else's children unconditionally with, just because.
The older ones, whenever, I guess the older ones aren't ever around him, are they?
I'm glad you brought that up. My oldest was around for a little while because he was 10, when I left.
Right.
And then he stopped coming every other weekend because he would get away. It was him getting away from his brother and sister. Well, then it kind of started going on more and more. And the only time I'd see him would be at Christmas, birthdays, kind of a thing. So I'm still working on, Branson, he's seen a lot. He's been through more than the other two have. Okay. He's been through a lot more, remembers all of it, knows all of it. And I never pushed him. I was never like, you have to come. I let him make up his own mind.
And one day, like we were saying, the kids make up their own minds. They'll figure it all out on their own. They'll learn to heal. Healing is a journey. It takes time. But for right now, you're on the right track in life. You're doing the right thing. You're getting what you need to get done for your family, for your kids, to continue healing together as a family.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm trying. I'm just trucking along every day.
So I have a question. Where did you come up with the positive penny?
My husband.
Because you are positive.
My husband.
Okay. And is it hard to be positive all the time? Like I had to learn how to be positive. I had to learn how to let the negativity go.
It's something that you learn to control. You know, I have to, if bad thoughts come in, nope, not today, Satan, not today, you know, but you get better at it. You just get better at it with the more practice.
You also rely on your faith, correct?
Yes. That's something that I've just brought into my life the past year too, which has helped tremendously.
It helps with your anxiety, I noticed.
Big time. Oh, big time. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It's another outlet of releasing energy, I guess.
You give it to your higher power, because basically when you're struggling, you take it off of yourself and you give it to your higher power.
Yes, and it helps a lot to be able to do that. And it's not easy. I still struggle with it, like with the whole Brindley with her medicine thing. And, you know, I have things that I struggle with, but I just keep giving it to them. You don't have to just give it to them once. I can give it to them 1,000 times. It doesn't matter. I just keep giving it away. Here you go.
So you must be fun at work because of your bubbly personality. Like that could be a show all in itself. People
I know.
Coming into the store, your regulars, your little chit chats.
Yeah, I do go live once in a while. It is fun. It is fun. I do enjoy people. I'm a people person. I am.
You are.
Person. I like to make people feel good. I want them when they leave me being like, I feel good about myself. She just is so not, you know, like, that's what I want. I try to compliment every customer. I like your ring today. Oh, that's pretty shirt. Nice hair. Oh, I like your shoes. Oh, pretty makeup. Oh, you know, your hair looks whatever. Even if I don't even agree with it.
I try to do the same thing.
To feel good. You know,
you try to uplift people. You try to make them feel positive.
Yes.
You try to find one thing. There's always one. This is what I learned in my recovery. There's always one positive thing that you could find even in a negative situation.
Yeah.
And it takes practice to learn that.
Big
like
time.
even with losing my kids, I now look at it as not such a negative thing because so much positive things came from that situation that it's like you can't just be like, oh my God, DCF took my kids. Right. Now I rephrase that. And I'm like,
you took accountability. It's about taking accountability.
Took my kids because I was doing the wrong thing and I wasn't in the right headspace in my life. But today, I'm working for it. Today, I'm working towards a goal.
Yes, when you can take accountability and be like, I fucked up.
Yep.
I really fucked up. Boom. It's going to start right there. Because then you're not being like, oh, well, it's the clinic's fault. Oh, it's their fault. Oh, it's because of this. I could have 1,000 freaking reasons myself.
We all have those people in our lives, though, that are negative about everything. They want to suck the energy right out of you. And how do you deal with people like that when you are such a positive person?
I've gotten good at just being like, whatever. My saying is kick rocks and flip flops. I don't care. See you later. You know, keep it moving. You know, what I love is I used to really like dull myself. Like I was always too afraid to be how I am now. But my husband is like, no, that's what I love about you. Like, don't dull that. That's you. Like, so he's embraced me for me and loved me to where I could love myself again. And when you can love yourself again, you can finally give it to other people. And when you can give it to other people, it's like what my best friend said, it's a full circle moment. And when you hit that full circle moment, you want to keep going and you want to keep helping people and telling people, hey, it's okay. I've been there. It's okay. It's okay.
Right.
We can get through it.
So is he the reason, since he named you Positive Penny, is he the reason you started your social media?
No. I have always I don't know, wanted to not be famous, but be popular, kind of, I guess you could say. And I'm comfortable in front of the camera most of the time. And it really started off as, for fun. Like, I didn't really think I didn't do it to, influence people at first or to be, I just really did it because everybody else was doing that kind of a thing. And I wanted to hop on the TikTok train.
So what was your first, when you first started making videos, like what was one of your first like things that you said or did? Did you talk about your recovery?
I used to do fit checks a lot. That was kind of my thing. I would do fit checks. And that's kind of how my personality came out from the camera was doing the fit checks. And then like our day dates, we would do our day dates, our Myers trips. Just filming, you know, and being comfortable filming in front of people. Like there's always people around. When I'm being crazy, 99% of the time I've got somebody watching me, you know?
Yeah.
I've learned to not care. That doesn't matter. Am I going to see that person again? Probably not.
When you grew up, did you grow up like searching for perfection?
Oh,
searching. Did you grow up thinking
people
that like, yes, that's what I was about to say.
People, big time. I still suffer from that, but I'm getting a lot better because I have boundaries, and boundaries are very important in recovery in general, in your life, but especially in recovery. But when you have those boundaries, they're black and white. You cannot sway from them. That's one thing I feel that is black and white, and that's your boundaries. Somebody stepping over that boundary, I don't care who you are, you got to go. If you're not respecting my boundaries, I'm sorry. It goes for everybody. You have to go. And that's been a hard pill to swallow because I've had to kick some what I thought important people out of my life. But if they were very important, they wouldn't have, you know.
You think that was kind of instilled by your dad?
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time. Absolutely. For sure. Big time. Yes. And I always say I'm sorry all the time. I'm sorry all the time. I've been gone out of the relationship for over 6 years and I still say I'm sorry all the time.
Like that's from that abusive relationship. Yes. That's from always feeling like you're doing the wrong thing all the time, walking on eggshells all day.
So that's something I'm working on, is that I'm saying I'm sorry all the time.
And Clint, I'm sure he helps with that because you guys have a beautiful relationship. You truly do. It's something that I look up to.
That's so sweet because I didn't believe in true love. When I left my ex, I thought that it was BS, that I thought that no way. No, that I was like, nope, I'm going to be alone. I'm okay with that, you know. And there is true love out there. If somebody loves you more than they love themselves, that's true love. And Clint genuinely loves me more than he loves himself. And it shows in all of the things he does for me and our family. You know, he's amazing. When I met Clint, he was 600 some pounds. 600 some pounds.
So did both of you decide to do the surgery together? Like
we were, yes, he was in the bariatric program with me. But then I had my surgery and did really well, but then COVID hit. And he was like, I'm going to do it. That when COVID hit, that's when he decided he was going to do it himself.
Wow, that takes a lot of dedication.
And he's lost over a lot of pounds, yes, on his own, yes. And now he's working, got a better job. Like he is. I never thought I'd see the day that Clint would work. He used to have to be on oxygen. Like we would have to leave a store because his oxygen was going to run out, and we would have to go.
Wow.
Now he's out in the garden for hours. We go on walks. He works 40, 45 hours a week. He is an inspiration himself. And we vibe off of that. We keep inspiring each other. And I think that's how I continue to grow, is because we're not happy with just being here. We want to keep,
You lift each other up.
Yes.
And you guys want to keep building together instead of working up away from each other. Like a lot of people do in a lot of relationships. They don't work together as a team.
No.
There's some kind of...
We set down some ground rules. When we decided we were going to date, we set down ground rules. One, always be honest. No lying. No lying whatsoever. You don't need to. We're adults. You don't need to lie. Number two, communication. Gotta have communication. And number three, no cheating. Those are our ground rules, and treat each other with respect. He's told me, I will always put you on a pedestal. And he always has.
Was it hard to trust that at first? Because I could see coming out of a broken relationship being like, yeah, okay, you're going to respect me? I doubt it. You're not going to cheat on me? I doubt it.
Yeah.
Because when you're used to being cheated on and being disrespected on a constant basis, you think of yourself as a piece of shit.
Yes.
I know what that feels like.
Yes. We got engaged quick, but we had a long engagement. We had a 3-year engagement. So, we kind of got quick to get engaged, but we spent a lot of time to learn about each other. We spent, we lived together those 3 years. We went through the whole Bryce thing. We've gone through so many things together that just, keep bringing us closer together.
Yeah.
Did he have the same kind of upbringing as you and the same, I guess, addictions, or was it completely different?
No, he was addicted to nose stuff, like.
I got
Okay,
Cola.
Yeah, there you go, cola. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Yeah, I could do that at a party and leave it alone. That was never my thing. Like I would do it in a whatever, at a party, at a special occasion. But
like your go-to substance.
No, and I think that's how we've helped each other in recovery too. Is because
I agree. I was just about to say that. And you guys don't have the same substances.
Yes. So it helped, and I didn't even know how bad he was into it when we first got together, because he told me when I walked over here on that Friday, he's like, he knew that if he wanted a chance with me, he couldn't be messing up. And he said that was the last day that he did that. And I believe him because his drops prove it. So,
wow.
That Friday, he's like, I'm done, because he wanted a shot with me. And he knew to have a shot with me, he had to be straight and narrow, because I wasn't putting up with no bullshit at all.
Because you had very clear boundaries from the beginning. Yes. And I think that's what made your relationship get off on the right foot. Because you told him, like, I'm not putting up with the bullshit.
Yeah.
What do you want to do with your content now that you've kind of got your feelers out there and you've been doing your thing for a little bit?
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm opening up more about my recovery. That's something that I'm opening up more.
I love that. I love seeing that.
I don't think so. I'm going to put it out. I want to start doing dosing with me videos. I need to do that maybe once a week or something, whatever. And I might get haters for it, but who cares? It's my life, whatever. I don't care. I got my people to back me up. I got you two right here. I know you guys got my back.
Got you.
You know I do.
I know. So I want to open up more about my recovery.
Is there anything like program-wise or anything that you're kind of trying to get into right now?
Yeah, I would love to become a recovery coach. Okay. I think I would be really good in that area. I think that.
And the domestic violence thing. Like I was talking to you about, I tell Penny all the time, you would make the perfect domestic, like DV counselor, someone for women to go to, because they would feel so confident and comfortable talking with you. That is more your niche than anything, because look at all the shit that you've been through. And look at how you keep killing it. Look at the situations that you've escaped from. You left literal prison.
And the reason why I don't talk about that on my social media, if you guys are wondering, is because of my children. Because Brindley has a TikTok, and I will never have her come on here and see a video where I'm talking bad about her dad. So that's why I don't open up about the domestic violence on my page so much.
I respect you for that. I respect you for that.
That's the only reason why I don't, because I feel like I could help people in that area. I really do.
You could.
Maybe I can make a separate TikTok and block I don't know, but that's why I don't talk about that on my
I got my son blocked on my TikTok. That way he can't hear any of my videos.
Right.
There's a lot of things that I discuss. My kids hear me talking, like your kids hear you talking.
Yeah, right.
Your kids know you're in recovery. It's not a secret.
Open.
That's what I was just about to say. I've heard.
Yes.
I've heard those conversations. These kids today are like with technology in their hands, so advanced.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Like I was talking with a friend on the phone, and she was saying a situation, and Brindley's like, that's abuse. And I said, you're right, Brindley. Exactly. That's abuse. Like, I was so proud of her. I said, you are so right. She's getting it, and that's just like, that's what I hold on to. And that's what keeps me positive. What keeps me going is my kids and wanting others to, just have a good life and be yourself. Be yourself. If you are bright and bubbly, be yourself. If you're not so bright and bubbly, that's okay. Just embrace who you are. And your flock will come to you. Your people will come to you. I don't have a lot of people in my life, but you know what? I'm in the best of my life. The few people I have, I know I can count on with everything. And that is so powerful, and that's so amazing. And I want everybody to feel that. And I want everybody to feel like I'm their friend, because I am.
So for the people that are in chat and watching, and for everybody, do you try and answer like every message and help people get sober, or do you kind of just help support them while they're doing it?
I don't really get a lot of, I have a little bit get sober stuff, but it's more about like staying positive. How do you stay so positive? So I've been kind of helping people with the changing their mood, changing their mindset, changing the way they think. You know, it's all about the way you think. We all have those thoughts. We're human.
Absolutely.
We all have those thoughts, but it's how you process those thoughts and get rid of them or not get rid of them that make us do the things that we do.
Like when you started riding your bike to work, like, hey guys, get up and move, get some exercise, get some fresh air. It's good for your mental health.
Absolutely.
Because I say the same thing all the time. Walk-in is my medicine. It is my medicine. That trumps any medication I've ever put into my body. You don't need to be scrolling TikTok all day, answering comments, TikTok, because you're taken away from what truly matters in your life.
You know, it's something that we just learn. I'm still learning how to balance it. It's something that I'm learning.
I wanted to ask you another question. So your medical marijuana journey, does that help? Like, why did you want to get on it? And at what point in your recovery did you get the card? Because I have a card as well. And that helps me tremendously with, like, you know, different things, sleep. Like, what do you utilize it for?
So anxiety, mostly. I'm a big worry wart. I worry about everything, and my mind's always racing. My mind is
those intrusive thoughts
going all the time. So that helps calm it down. It helps where I can decipher what thoughts to process and what ones to, like, you know, kick rocks.
Let go. Yeah.
So it helps with that. And it helps with my mental, it helps calm me.
A lot of people have talked about being on it lately, and it's like, I've been trying to figure out something with my anxiety, because lately, like the past couple of months probably, it's just exploded. And I'm a busy person. I've got a lot of shit going on, but it's different than it's ever been before, and it's kind of getting to the point where it's too overwhelming.
It's amplified. It's amplified right now.
So, you know, like, maybe try gummies or so. You know, you don't have to smoke it. There's tons of, you know, there's oil,
tincture, RSO.
And if you ever have any questions, Kyle, I'm here. My hubby, he's also on the sidelines. He's a farmer. That's what he does. So we do know a lot about that. So if you have any questions, you know, you can message me about anything.
Medical marijuana is about like, you have to explore different strains.
You do.
Certain strains give me more anxiety, but once you get to learn what works for your body, you can kind of tweak it.
Once you figure out that, then you go from there and you figure out a strain from that.
I don't know if I can, but even if it works, because my main job, because I drive all day.
Oh, yeah, no, you can't. You can't. Yeah. It's not an option. I already know, because that's what my ex does. You can't. I mean, you could have it, but then you will lose your license.
Right.
And it's not worth it. It's not worth it for him.
Is that what you're working with, is trying to figure out a way to deal with your anxiety? Is that something you're doing now, is trying to figure out what, like, maybe, you know, exercising or being out and outside or writing? I don't know. Coloring. There's lots of things that
movement.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. Movement is my number one thing that helps my anxiety. When I get anxious, I have to move.
Yeah.
I got a treadmill. That was the best thing I ever did and invested in myself. Because I started doing my daily walks. If the weather's not good, I get on the treadmill. Then I started to like to run. Learning to run, because I would run off my anxiety.
You just got to find something that you like to do that can take your focus away from your thoughts and your brain. And once you find that, it'll get easier. It'll get better.
CBD. What about natural, like CBD oil that doesn't have THC?
There you go. That could help. Absolutely.
It could.
Absolutely. And then there's also mushrooms, microdosing. I mean, I don't know if that's something you're looking into too, but I've been doing that for the past, I haven't talked about that, I'll just say it on here, for the past 6 weeks, and it's been tremendous. Helped me so much.
Yeah. No, I've done a lot of research on it, and I've thought about it, because I don't really like my other options. But for me, it's no matter what, without fail, if I try and stop, if I try to just sit and be for 5 seconds, no interruptions, it can't happen. There's no possible way. Between every job, my business going, all the kids.
Make things easier for yourself, like lessen the load.
There you go.
Have other people help with, but you got to let go of that control sometimes because it lessens the load for you.
Well, that's why whenever I wanted to do this, I said, Marie, can you help me? Which
you guys are killing it. I love it. I was so honored to be on here today. I was just tickled.
I know how excited you were. We truly appreciate how you were advertising it all week, like trying to get the peeps on here.
Come on, I'm gonna keep advertising. I love you guys.
I know. We love you.
People. I love y'all. You guys are doing a good thing. This is a great thing for people. You're building a community. You're building a safe place. And you know what? That's what people need to start their recovery sometimes, is a safe place. And you guys are providing that. Thank you for that. Seriously, thank you for that. That's a beautiful thing.
The best part about it for me is the connection with other people. I don't get that connection. I'm a mom of four. I don't have friends that I hang out with really. Yeah. Like, it's a sense of connection for me that I've never experienced in my life. And it feels so good to have all these friends that you don't even know.
My page has also helped me with accountability, because I'll come on and be like, well, I'm doing laundry today. I didn't do it for 6 weeks, so let's do it in 3 weeks. You know, like I say things on there to help hold me accountable. TikTok has helped me like feel I've built my confidence more up over this app, and have just found the best connections of my life on this app.
Me too.
The people that I relate to more than people that I've known 30 years in my life. You know, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful for it. And I'm grateful for what you guys do, because it's beautiful that people take time out of their day and to do stuff like this.
If we've got nothing else, we're going to call it at that. If you are not following all of us, what are you doing with your lives?